Good afternoon. Wait, is it afternoon?
Not quite.
My name is Koki. I'm with the Positivity Recovery Foundation Corporation and the Positivity Booth. And this is the Sheboygan County Community Connections SC3 podcast. Today we have Lighthouse Recovery. Again, my name is Koki. I'm the Positivity guy. I'm here with
Lieutenant Blodgett, Sheboygan County Sheriff's Office.
Christma Rush, founder and community partnerships with Lighthouse Recovery Community Center.
Miranda and Christma, Center Coordinator of Lighthouse Recovery Community Center.
I start here. I have a connection with Lighthouse. I was a recovery coach with y'all, and actually, I learned quite a bit there. It really, with some help of Christma here, helped me find and prioritize what I was doing. And because recovery is we get there, but then like guidance through it. It's really helped my experience with Lighthouse, and I'm still connected with Lighthouse too. So I'm excited about this interview as well. I can't wait to hear what's going on. And I have to speak up.
Only a little. All right. So there's two locations, correct?
There is.
Lighthouse Sheboygan at 1014 North 6th Street and Lighthouse Manitowoc 818 State Street. And then do you have a general email that everything goes to, or a phone number? Anything you want to provide?
Info at lighthouse.org. And then our phone number is, well, there's two different ones. Ours is 920 in Manitowoc, 374-3989 is our hotline where anybody can get services or support. And Miranda, our Sheboygan number
Is 920-226. I'm looking up the last four. It's pretty slow on me.
Big building.
Yeah.
We'll provide that at the end. That's not a big thing for now. Just know that they're here. So why don't you give us a mindset of what Lighthouse is and what you bring to the community?
Yeah, so the mission of Lighthouse is to empower individuals seeking recovery. We do that in several ways. We provide education, we just provide one-on-one recovery support services, and we provide linkages to resources. It's a safe and social atmosphere, and we honor all pathways to recovery. So that's our primary mission. And to break that down a little bit more, we really see the more we invest in individuals, the greater their success is. So that education piece has been data proven that when we can allow for people to have the education and experiences with that it's an increase in it lessens their recidivism and increases the sustainability of long-term recovery. One-on-one recovery support services. So what our coaches do is they walk along the side by side with individuals that we're working with. And they do that to help them identify their pathway to recovery. We say that there's as many pathways to recovery as there are people. So whether it's a church support group, a yoga class, art, music, we get to explore that in many ways. And then helping them overcome any barriers to achieving their self-identified recovery goals. So we are not identifying their goals, they identify their recovery goals. We just help them. And then finally, just again, the opposite of addiction is not abstinence, it is connection. So that is really our goal, is when all the problems go away and all the programming goes away, or requirements, drug court, probation, whatever the case might be, your partner saying you need to do this, right? Our goal during that time is to help them find that. And it might not be Lighthouse, and that is okay. The idea is eventually in your journey moving forward, you're going to have a rough day and a rough time, and you're going to need to reach out and call somebody. And so our goal is to make sure that
We need each other. I want to touch back on that. So the multiple avenues of recovery. So when I've been sober before, I've gotten healthy before, I've been incarcerated, all of these things, but that the recovery back then, when I did it, it was this. It was set in stone, and if you didn't follow this, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. And I was so focused on that all the time, the negative. I was like, give up. Why am I going to do this? It's so tough. When there's so many other avenues, and the fact that you support what helps the person. I love that. Like teamwork is what I was missing in my recovery. When I went to prison, got out, I was sober for a while. Boom, 6 months I was using. I was in shape for a while. I never connected with the community around me ever. And this time, that's what keeps me going. Is the people around me, seeing y'all, talking to people in the community, just seeing those smiles. It's almost like a gigantic support group all the time. So I really Lighthouse really motivates, inspires me out here. I may not say it all the time, but you guys do. You really helped me along my journey to allow me. I love that you accept all that.
For sure. It's a two-way street. I mean, I think we've had lots of we're a stepping stone, because we hire people with lived experience with the education. So to help people navigate their walk, their pathway. I think of Trey. Trey worked with us, right? And he came in as like 6 hours a week at the beginning level, foot in the door, right? And like moved himself all the way up to CCS coordinator. And then we helped him provide some dollars for some education. Exercise, physical therapy, And then he decided, like, yeah, that's going to be my journey, and we got to support him in that. So it's cool to hear that. Like, we're really not here to like move people. We really want to help people. It's a two-way street because you're walking your life
And you run into that here and there. I've ran into walls with some of the not accepting of all of the pathways and stuff, and that's okay too because that's their way.
Yeah.
And I accept that. But I love the connection. You emphasize that too, that the community and the teamwork.
What do you offer in-house? I see, peer support, employment skill development. Is that all in-house at the facilities, or is that held elsewhere?
We do services at the facility itself, but we can go out to a school or work employment. We can go at the coffee shop. We're pretty flexible. We offer pro-social activities because, again, it's that connection thing, right? Like so many of us are isolated in the beginning, and so those pro-social activities that we offer on a regular basis really are there to help us reunite with ourselves and the ability to be able to, as well as all of our pro-social activities really helps with the reunification process, which also can be hard in the beginning for some. So we like to be able to provide. Miranda can speak more specifically to the events that we've been hosting locally.
On July 4th, which was a hard holiday for some people when you're in recovery and you're around other people drinking and such. So the Lighthouse staff at Sheboygan thought it was very important to hold a July 4th sober spot down at the lake. We cooked out and we had chips and we got together, watched the fireworks. We also did the parade. We were in the parade. Some more of our activities we have every Tuesday. We do family dinner at 5 o'clock. Anybody is welcome for that. We have bingo. We have a cribbage tournament. We have a pool league coming up on July 15th and July 22nd at 1 o'clock with the first prize winner. We also have meetings on the weekend, we have an NA meeting, an AA meeting. We just have so many events. We are going to be also at Mill Street Days in Plymouth. We're going to be at the Farmers Market. One of my biggest personal goals is to show people in recovery that you can have fun without being under the influence. I'm in recovery myself, and that was the hardest thing for me, is getting out there and enjoying myself being sober. So just showing people that you can have fun and bringing other sober people around at the Lighthouse is one of my biggest goals at the Lighthouse.
That's pretty much Cookie's everyday experience. Showing everybody you can do it sober and be happy.
No, I actually have some way more fun, and I remember it now than I did. Like I put myself in positions like I still go to raves and perform, and to show people. I dance more now than I did before. I love who I am. I can just And I have people that message me here and there and say, "Thank you for coming out. I know it's hard for you." And I'm like, "I need to help you smile" takes that away actually, and it's just seeing that I don't have to tell people. I can just show them it's fun, like you said. If and I say this a lot, if it looks delicious, people are gonna eat it. Whether it's health, whether it's positive mental health, physical, doesn't matter. People are gonna say, "That looks awesome. Let's do it." You know what I mean? You make it look fun enough. So I love the fact that you do the dinner too, because a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people don't get to sit with the family. And I didn't realize how important that was until I started seeing people that didn't get to do that. I got to do it as a kid myself, and it was a big deal. And a lot of people don't get that. So it's really cool that you're doing that. You go out of the way. And anybody listening to this, you can donate to help these dinners at Lighthouse.
Yes, we are always looking for volunteers to make our family dinner. We also have yoga on Wednesdays, every Wednesday, and we just started a women's group on Wednesdays at 1:30, and childcare is provided for that.
Wow.
That's been a pretty exciting new thing on the calendar.
So does that go in with the mindful meditation portion of what you guys provide then, the yoga?
Yep. Yeah. So every Wednesday at 10 o'clock, we do yoga. We have thought about doing a meditation, but kind of yoga does a little bit of that, right? So it's been doing really good. We want to bring it to the lake. We haven't yet. We're still discussing that and how we can go about doing that. But yeah, it's been a pretty good outcome so far, and it's been nice.
I know Bob used to run a meditation group itself, so it's kind of an ebb and flow. You know, we have a PAC, which stands for Peer Advisory Council. And what's important about the PAC is that they're empowered to know that they have a voice in regards to like what is it that we need locally for our local recovery. So it's at those regular meetings that they come and say, "Hey, can we do this type of you know?" When we start talking about that, so they know that home and that space that they come to on a regular basis is theirs. So it ebbs and flows, but I think, you know.
Yeah, it was one of the things I took notice of on the website was the mindful meditation with yoga, especially your body. If you were to break an ankle, because your foot's in a cast and isn't really moving, your body tends to forget it's there. So when you get to physical therapy afterwards, it's more training your body to realize your ankle's still there, so you stop rolling it and you stop doing things that probably caused the first action. And that's kind of in the same thing is yoga's gonna push you to your stretching limits, right? But if you're not healthy in your own mind, you're probably not gonna push your limits as far as you can. And if you're in the middle of yoga and you're like, I'm out, well, keep pushing, right? Same thing as recovery. You're going to have that block. You're going to have that hard time, whatever position you want to call it. It's going to be that, oh, this is really rough. But if you don't keep pushing through, then why'd you start? You got to keep moving forward. And you're going to have those times where, yeah, it is a little setback. Maybe it's a little too tight and you push okay, move on the next day and keep going after it.
I think you touched on a good point about setbacks. So one of my favorite things to educate the community is that it's a disease. We see, but what constitutes a disease is damage to an organ, right? And so if I inhale smoke for a long period of time, damage, right? The breakdown of our liver, right, can lead to diabetes. So what makes substance use disorders so trying, so traumatic for the community is that the organ that is damaged is the brain, and that creates a biopsychosocial effects. And so when you talk about like taking steps back, it's like I don't walk into a restaurant and know that somebody's lapsing in their diabetes, diet because we don't have signs above us, and if you're eating cake, we don't know. But there's a 50 to 60% relapse rate makes it so difficult is, again, really affects others. We have a lot of empathy and compassion.
So, what are some of the main points to really show not so much, where we were? We all know that recovery is hard as it is, but how do we keep moving forward? What are some of the things that you guys are seeing that are really helping people?
I contribute a lot of the success that we've had is by the hope that we bring with the lived experience. Job of that being like the hope to many people, right? Having gone through it himself. And so that is, when we talk about the psychosocial aspect of things, right? One of the first things we have to do is we have to help them feel in a way that gives them hope. We have that healing process. We want to get them away from shame, because shame is a catalyst, right, to falling backward. So if we can help them understand and see that it is not a moral failing, and that there is a way out, and that we are here to support them, they're not alone in it, that really is a wonderful way to support them.
Yeah, knowing you're not alone is big. It's huge. I like that at some of my lowest points. That's one thing that drives me to, is being that person for somebody that I need. As I say it a lot. We need each other. Like, not even just in recovery, in general. We need each other, and I think that connection coming back helps. So showing it it's okay, to be vulnerable, to connect, to say good morning to people.
Yeah.
Because I get looked at kind of weird sometimes when I say good morning to people.
Well, and partnerships like this are really, really, really helpful too. To the other side, right? Like we have a great partnership too, and that brings everybody to the same. For them to see, like, yes, we really well, and it is also so beneficial for you guys to see us doing well, right? Because kudos to the work that you guys do, and it is so important for you guys. It's a healing process for you as well, for you to see, like, wait a minute, there are people recovering. The work that we did do to save them or arrest them, really on the other side is saving lives. For this partnership, for our population to be like, oh, they don't hate us. They're not out to get us.
I wish more people could see that. I said it before, I'll say it again. The only time we really, unfortunately, get to meet people is probably on one of their worst days. And if we've gotten to meet them a couple times, then how many really bad days are you having? And it happens all the time. There's people I've arrested multiple times, or come in contact with multiple times in a week, some a day. I wish that people would just be able to see that, I didn't sign up for this job to arrest people. I didn't sign up to go fast. Perk, going fast, maybe. Not exactly always safe, but people see it as a perk. When I was young, maybe. Now that I'm in the position I'm in, and I'm overseeing people and getting to know people, I can see the value every employee brings and why they got into this job. I don't know of any deputies that got into this job to arrest people. In the middle of our hiring interviews, the question always comes up, why law enforcement? And the common canned response is always 100% of the time to help people. But I want to know why, right? So I ask them to dive a little deeper. This is it. Ultimately, we're the protector of society and the community, and how are we protecting them if we're not building relationships and getting out there and really enjoying the community for what it is? One of our last interviews, is well, what do you guys do in the community? Being a county agency, it seems like we're a little stretched out, 1,000 square miles, so on. I push guys. Now third shift is a little different. If there's kids playing basketball, it's probably because we got sent for a call or something like that. But on day shift, I urge the guys to get out, go play sports with the kids. Obviously, don't get hurt doing it. Don't die for the football, but throw the ball around. Go shoot some hoops. Get out, go walk through the school, go to recess. That was my favorite. As a kid, our local police chief would get out. He'd park his squad right in the middle of the parking lot, and everybody would go in, play with the lights, check out the squad car. It was totally community driven. And my little community at that time had 2,000 people. How many communities in Sheboygan County right now have 2,000 people? Maybe a little more, depending. But those are the ones we serve. So if we can get into the school, and not every one of those kids, like myself, lived, in town. They're rural kids on a farm, helping with chores. They don't get to see some of that stuff all the time. So if we can have that impact while they're at school, playing sports with their friends. I help coach a baseball team. I see a squad car drive by, always wave them down. Because I want them to just get out, come say hi. Don't interrupt so much, but be that person that stands and watches and gets an idea of what these kids are doing, their skill, and maybe build a relationship with those kids that are waiting to bat. Just talk. And that, I think, is the main reason people get into this career. But because of what we end up having to do or are exposed to, that idea sometimes gets a little watered down. I don't know. This career for me has always been enjoyable. I've seen some things. I've been part of things that are hard. But if we don't remember why we got into it in the beginning, if I didn't remember why I got into it and I have some guy dancing in my lobby, it's a get out. Instead of a hey, come talk to me. I want to find out more.
Right.
I thought I was in trouble.
That's just because I'm not good with words.
He said, we need to talk to you about your dance you did in the sheriff's department parking lobby. I was like, I turned to Steph, I said, can I get in trouble for that?
That's great.
Yeah, but
And you gave me some ideas. We found ways to engage. We got a grant back in 2019, is the ED2 grant, which stands for Emergency Department to Recovery, but that has expanded greatly. You don't have to just come to the emergency department anywhere in the emergency field, right? So we hold an appreciation every year for everybody in the emergency sector. The ER, to correctional officers, to anybody working with our population in a crisis space. We definitely want to honor the work you do. When we do our car wash and Manitowoc, it's the boys in blue that show up in our dunk tank. They see that connection. So you sharing that, we have softball tonight. We have 2 law enforcement on our board. But to be like, hey, it'd be nice to see you guys at the game.
Yeah.
So that might be something, we
say it. It's simple community policing, right? That's the coined term everyone puts on it. But it's community involvement, right? Policing, great, yeah. It just sounds a little rough when you sit and think about it. But if it's community involvement, we're involved. Everything we do here, Shop with a Cop, National Night Out, Festival of Foods has their pumpkin patch, Harvest Fest. There it is. We go there every year. Squad car, armored vehicle, because love it. And again, if we can build that relationship now, then later when something does happen, whether it's recovery based, domestic violence based, or they hit a deer, they're not so reluctant to call.
Well, and we want you guys to know that, if you find somebody in the field that does want support, we are a resource to come out to the field. We want to be able to do that work so you guys can focus on your work. And so when you guys are working with individuals, if somebody is interested in
Good, because I don't get out as much as I used to, but when I do, I'm pushing this stuff all the time because I know the importance of it. I have friends. I've built relationships because of my involvement, or the one the one family, they were grandparents that took in a grandson, and I would just stop in, and then when he would get in trouble, it was all right. Well, I guess we're playing some old school country because this is how you get out of it. It's not going to be that rock and roll that you want. It's going to be Johnny Cash or something. And then when you're out, you're going to listen to whatever you want. It'll be a whole new day. But I still have those relationships, car crash victims and so on. It's been really rewarding to be here in Sheboygan County. Now this is the only spot I've worked, so I can't say anything about anywhere else. But of all my friends, that work here, work in local jurisdictions, everyone's saying the same thing about their career. And it's not, law enforcement's not a job, right? It's career based. We can retire a little earlier. Again, some of the stuff we see, so on. But I'm halfway to a 30-year career, and I don't ever envision leaving. So, if you want to get into law enforcement, please do. Anyway, shameful plug. But more about Lighthouse.
So July 25th actually is our appreciation cookout for the first responders, law enforcement, even nurses, doctors. It will be from 10 to 3 o'clock at the Lighthouse.
Okay.
And
No, the connection here. I've even had some people in the community go,
Yeah.
or we walked in when we went over to Human Services. That guy I was walking. He goes, "Oh, you the man."
Yeah.
But being brought into, like, I was on the speaker panel, law enforcement, help them interact with addiction, and it just being there. I get blown away by it, like being up there and listening to me.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much recovery is evolving to be able to help people. It's more on the connection. This is all awesome. I never thought I'd be sitting here with y'all doing anything like this ever. But Lighthouse has been actually a strong point in my recovery, though I'm not there as much. I still see all this stuff. You'll see more of me once I get this figured out, and it's coming. In the events, it's always been positive. I'm a cheerleader.
And as I said before, I'm also in recovery. Actually, when I had overdosed, I went to St. Nick's and they gave me a Lighthouse flyer. And I got a recovery coach through Lighthouse, and now here I am working at the Lighthouse. And I just love that and love the opportunity. And
It's always awesome to give back.
yes,
right?
absolutely.
Like, we all use resources one way or another, and if we're able to give back to that resource, what more could you ask for? And I think it's great that yourself, Koki, anyone else that gets into, a program or recovery and is able to step back and be like, well, now I have something to offer. Because when you're not in recovery, I'm assuming a lot of the mindset is, well, like you said earlier, this is a really hard day. Yeah. But if you have the mindset of, I now have something to give back. Every day is something different, right?
Purpose distraction.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, I got a purpose. I have to do it.
Oh, I have to. Oh no, I get to. That's the mindset is, oh, I have to go do this. And then the next day, once you have that purpose, I get to go do this.
It's more rewarding. The feeling I get from helping people smile. That emotion, crying with people in the community because of my freestyle, just the connection, it's just amazing. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. I haven't, and it is the best feeling. There's no drug that will touch it. I can say that right now. Not even close. I would rather go around and smile with 5 people than ever. Like, it's It's amazing.
And I've seen so many people out there trying to, go through recovery, and they don't have family, they don't have support. So being able to have the Lighthouse and to come to, and we are like one big family. We're here to support them and be with them on their journey. Because not everyone has family and a good support system.
And sometimes that support system isn't the support you think it is, right? It's that it's kind of what's pushing you. That family or the support system you're using kind of pushes you towards that need for recovery. So sometimes when you go to the group meetings, the chats, and stuff like that, and you meet that group that now has that learned knowledge, it's a step away from that group. You can't choose your family, choose your friends. But that interaction level, maybe that group that wasn't helping you so much goes down a little bit, but that new group you're getting into, the new friendships, new relationships that you've built, that's the group that you really go towards.
And it happens organically. I still talk to people that I don't do anything really.
And you're taught that along the way. Sometimes you have to, right? We didn't have boundaries, but we learn them for our own health and well-being. And sometimes, like we said before, this disease is traumatizing, and we burn bridges along the way too. So to be able to support people until
Shining light.
Shining light.
Speaking of shining lights, you guys have a Light of Hope, which is your own podcast, correct?
Yeah.
And how often does that air?
That's a weekly spot, Tuesdays. For news.
Okay. Again, you can find it all on their Facebook page, their website, and so on. Did I ever think I'd get into doing a podcast? Absolutely.
I'm working
not.
on getting them on video.
I have a face for radio, not television. Only my mother would say otherwise. But no, I think that's great. And again, it's one of those other resources. The one I saw had Jason Priggy on. Just watching. It's what, 10 minutes long.
So you're talking about our Dose of Hope videos.
The Dose of Hope video, yeah.
Okay, so we got the radio spot.
Haven't gotten to the podcast yet.
And those. So what I didn't understand, again, everything happens organically, and that's what happens when you follow your passion or that nudge. So like for everything to like fall into place, I did not know that creating a platform of hope is because you can't stigmatize. I learned that because we did 3 showings of the anonymous people, and those Dose of Hope videos is exactly that. It was giving hope and showing the community of like recovery does happen. Because otherwise, like, what's the highlight in the news, right? What's the highlight? And again, like I would get jaded in I would get jaded as law enforcement, right? And so for us to be able to be like, wait a minute, like I had been part of recovery for 12 years, and I was getting so mad of like, why are we not talking about the solution? I live in the solution 3 nights a week, But there had to be more. It was like to build upon that, and to take professionals from all sectors, right? I was with a nurse the other day and talking about sharing the story of the stigma in those different sectors. We want to say you're in the lunchroom, you're sharing conversation, and you might not even know they're dying inside from the disease, or that they're not supporting a son or a daughter or a wife or a husband at home from this disease, but they can't say anything because the stigma is there and the bashing is there. So it's like that type of education to say there is no, it doesn't pick social and economic status, or that you do this type of work, or this type of race. Like none of that matters.
That really hit me hard talking about that. So when I'm in the community, there are so many people family members struggling with recovery because they come up to me and they hug me and they reach out to me online and they tell me thank you for doing this or this or this daily. And knowing that there's hope, it helps these families, and it's amazing. I get emotional. Well, you know, but it happens a lot. There's a lot of people in the community. That's just here. That's not even when I go into like places. But they seeing that hope, and it's true. 100% that hope knocks the walls down immediately. It's like it's just, and we need it like so badly in this community.
How many Dose of Hopes videos do you guys have so far?
We did them until COVID. So
Yes,
you know,
great
we
time
haven't
for everyone.
yeah, right, everything, yeah, right. And we haven't. I think we tried to re-engage, and COVID wasn't officially over yet.
Yeah.
And so a lot of we did a lot of expansion and a lot of growth. Started out with me and a private $10,000 donation. And you know, when I stepped down last year, we had 26 staff and over $1.5 million budget. So that growth in itself took us in different directions. I'm really glad that Sheboygan's focus is activities because that's really where we were at early on. You know, and now we're moving more toward that service-based. So to see kind of like the evolution of how things go, that would be a discussion of like, do we engage those? I know we tried with our last coordinator for a period of time, so that can be definitely something. I know that it helps, and it really does give the foundation to the big event of Dose of Hope.
Yeah.
Which is our annual stigma reduction recovery awareness event, where we are giving a face and a voice in recovery, and we are honoring allies. I like those businesses, faith-based organizations, employers, nonprofits, all of those different organizations, rooting us along and trying to help us.
So the Dose of Hope campaign is September 21st at Nourish Farms in Sheboygan Falls this year, correct?
Yeah, it is.
That'll be good. What all goes on? For someone that hasn't been there.
Yeah, so well, we've always had the faces of hope. So self-submitted photos. I don't know if that's happening this year, where the discussion is with the Sheboygan crew. But I do know that we're going to have speakers with the same idea of giving hope to main speakers.
Lee Gentine.
If you're part of the meeting, go and share more about it.
So Lee Gentine from Sargento is going to be our main speaker, and then Bob Main, who's from Sheboygan Falls, where Nourish Farm is being held, and he also has been part of Lighthouse, and he's our recovery coach at Lighthouse. Our second speaker. We are also going to be having silent auctions. We got lots of art donations donated to it. It's going to be a pretty good, exciting event.
We always had it as art themed, just because we do qualities of art, and that's another activity that you're heading up.
Yes, we do have art and recovery. There's so many activities. I'd be on here for a half hour just telling them all, but we also have art and recovery every other Friday. I'm sorry, the first and third Friday of the month from 1:30 to 3:30.
There's so much healing that goes along with that as well. I mean, the idea of like letting go, not comparing, not, like art is an intelligence beyond space for us, because being inside of our heads is to reprogram that like toddler, that's up in our brain. Art is just
Funny though, because if you think all the way back when you were in school and you were in your own head, what'd you do? Doodled. Or where you drew those goofy S's on your textbook cover and all the fun '90s stuff. But you really went back and it was just you didn't know what you were drawing. You were just connecting lines, making dots and whatever. You were just letting it rip, letting go. Yeah, well, and that's just it. And yeah, I'm stuck in my own head. Mrs. Johnson or whoever's up top is talking, but I'm not focused, and I'm trying to get back to that point. But right now, I'm just doodling. I got yelled at all the time as a kid, staring out the window. My parents still laugh at me about that one.
I was always right now. I would take the eye and add to it. I will.
We actually had one of our peers come in and do a crochet class. Taught the basics of crocheting for one of our art classes. We've done candle making, so it's not only just like painting, but we've made coffee mugs. So many neat things, and we're always open to new ideas too. I love it.
I will.
So it is something we promote here in the detention facility. Is if you walk around out by the elevator and up in the jail lobby, there's actually art from inmates that were just hanging out, doing their time. But it's actually really good, pencil drawings and so on. But that stuff gets posted because
some amazing artists. When I was incarcerated, I saw some unbelievable artists. The portraits.
Yeah.
I actually, when I was in there, I would put the poetry in the cards and draw them for Christmas and for Valentine's Day. There are some amazing artists, and it's an outlet. It's the therapeutic.
Well, it's an intelligence, right? Mm-hmm. Culture says you're only intelligent if you can do these core things.
One of my favorite things to watch is the graffiti going as a train goes by. Yeah. Because it tells a story. One, you don't know where that train's coming from. You don't know where that specific car has ever been. But there's always something on it. Now, legal-wise, obviously, don't do that because it's someone else's property. However, like under the tunnel, the Erie Tunnel under 43, they were given permission to go down and create art. And it's graffiti based. But it's always such a cool, I can't spray paint anything to save my life. Right? It's never like a nice covering. It's always just whatever. These guys are out there drawing full portraits and all sorts of stuff with art that, again, they were given permission. But even if you look at the city of Sheboygan, the power boxes at some
I love those.
Just random art. And it all fits that community and that area.
And the cobbler has
the
I'm so excited to
at
bring my
Molly's.
daughter to this.
We take pictures.
It's not even funny right now.
Yeah, Molly's Cobbler Shop has the paint that I believe he does on the side.
My daughter.
The tunnel.
So my daughter is good. She's 14, right? She's a good kid. She's not doing the stuff that we do. But she went out on a walk with a friend. We lived downtown. And I go through her bag when she's at her dad's, and I was like, "What is broken?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what are you doing?" But we can't believe, like, there's real proud mama, because that's what we take pictures of all across the U.S. is graffiti, and it is an expression. So now she tells us, and so it's interesting you said that because she brought it to 4th of July. She's like, "I'm not going to hide it from you." I was like, "What are you going to do with it?" She's like, "Well, there's this tunnel though." I'm like, "No, you need permission."
Get permission first.
So we're going to come down there and check that out. That's amazing.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine at Jiu-Jitsu who is an artist. And some of the names and stuff I'm where he sold to. And like watching it because he'll do Facebook videos and I don't understand how he gets from point A to point B. And then at the very end, I'm like, well, where'd point A go? But it's always that process of I'm going to start here and somehow I'm going to end up over there. And it's all him just being an artist. It's very interesting to watch. Again, that's not where I'm at. I use lasers and wood and so on. I can't paint. That's what it
Their
is.
own way.
Yep. There you go. Get one of those bags. You can be a bag dancer. Same thing. Think so.
Our phone number for the Sheboygan Lighthouse is 920-226-3013.
All that 24 hours a day or text.
Yes, and I am always responsive to our Facebook. If you can't call, get on our Facebook. It's the Lighthouse Recovery Community Center, Sheboygan, because there is two. We have Sheboygan and Manitowoc. And I'm very responsive. I have it right on my phone, so if you ever need anything, message it. I will respond. We'll get you the help person you need.
We're on
That's
all
great.
of my pages too. John and Miranda. I also share most of their events as well. So.
And as you're listening here, it'll be under the link in the YouTube page. As we do with everyone, we'll have some pictures and all sorts of fun stuff. As you're listening, you can watch. But underneath, you'll see the links, email address, and phone numbers for both.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Well, thanks for coming.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank
was
you
awesome.
for having us.
Yes.
Thank you for coming in, smiling for a second. I hope that all my goofiness and fidgeting didn't wreck it.